All right, thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on archive. D-Style Boxing here. Thumbs up the video. Hit the notifications button, that little bell, so you can get notification when D-Style Boxing comes on live. If you're watching an archive, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. The chat is open for those that are coming on live. The chat has been open as always. Feel free to comment in the chat. I'll address comments in a little bit as people start coming on, etc., etc., etc. The big news of the day. How can I not talk about it? Andre SOG Ward, son of God, has retired from the sport of boxing, or so he says. Or so he says. What do I think about this? Well, first of all, as anyone who's followed my channel knows this has been the case for a while, even in my older channel. I've always been very high and a big fan of Andre Ward, right? Since even before the Super Six tournament, before his fight with Miranda, and watching him on the come up, and just knowing that this guy was something special. And from picking him to win the Super Six, which everybody now says I had him winning, but okay. But nonetheless, I followed his career, and I've always been a fan of SOG Ward. And if this is in fact his retirement, if he really is done, and if he really never comes back, then then good career, right? Then good career, good run. I think he had you know, it's good. I'll say that. His run at 168, great. All right. Had some great key wins, key victories, and yeah. So look, he ended his career with a stoppage of Sergey Kovalev. Some may say that's the perfect time to go, right? I mean, and if you feel that way, that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If he wants to retire, if he doesn't have it in him anymore, it is time to go. But I do honestly feel like that there's more here. And again, I could be wrong about this, but I honestly feel this is not the last we've seen of Andre Ward, right? For several reasons. He has not taken a lot of punishment over the years. He has had injuries that could contribute to it, in fairness. But he is young. He's 33 years old, and even if he feels he's done, honestly, I honestly believe D-Style Boxing predicts that Andre Ward will be in a boxing ring again, right? This feels the way it felt when Mayweather announced his retirement after the Baltimore fight. Like everybody said, well, if it's true, good career, but I wouldn't doubt it if he comes back. Or maybe after he retired, after the Ricky Hatton fight. That's how it honestly feels. Okay, if that's kind of how it feels, to be honest with you. I don't feel like he really is done. Could I be wrong? Sure, but in no more than 3 years, right? In fact, no more than 2 years, Andre Ward will be in a boxing ring again, right? He's going to be doing nothing, right? I'm sure he's going to have some stuff if he has charity work. Of course, he has a family. Don't get me wrong, it's not like he has nothing to do, right? But what's going to fill that void? And he's very young, and I honestly believe he's going to be back. I honestly believe that. Okay. Now, I'm not saying he was strategic in retiring. I'm not saying that, but it is possible. Right? Well, what do you mean? Like it's possible when you retire, right? Okay, you're no longer under any pressure whatsoever to do anything. You're retired, right? You can wait for the right moment right, to come back. And not only that, the offers that would be presented to you will be substantial. Now, it's not like Ward knew, oh yeah, I'm done for sure. He was thinking about it. He was, thinking about it before the second Kovalev fight. But he obviously felt different than fought Kovalev. He could feel different tomorrow. He could feel different in a year. Um, in 2 years, a lot can happen in boxing. And if a big name is at 175 pounds, and let's say it's a name that doesn't really have much options, are you telling me HBO isn't going to put a lot of money in front of Andre Ward? Are you telling me Showtime will put a lot of money in front of Andre Ward? Are you telling me BBC will put a lot of money in front of Andre Ward? Or if it's a British promoter or whatever, a lot of money will be, like, even if he doesn't come back, he's going to be offered a lot of money to come back, right? In at least 2 years' time, he's going to be offered a lot of money to return to the sport. A lot, right? And call, call whatever you want. I think he's going to be back, right? Um, do I believe he's sincere? At least he feels like he's done. Probably, yeah. I mean, I don't know. But I can't get in the mind of the guy. But do I believe? Again, this is guess that he's going to miss it. Yes. Do I believe that he's going to be offered a lot of money to come back? Are there going to be people calling him out? Yes. Right. And if you think about it, look at Mayweather's path. Mayweather was this, dominant fighter all these years, and then he reached the Baltimore fight. Okay. And then he was retired. I mean, he was probably sincere then too, right? But then, a lucrative fight pop. Now, there's no Oscar De La Hoya on the horizon as far as the name brand for Andre Ward. I get that. But in this case, I mean, he came back and he even announced his retirement after the De La Hoya fight, and then he came back again to fight Ricky Hatton. And then he put out a letter and a statement that with a heavy heart, he's done with the sport. And then he came back for the Marcus fight, right? And there was obviously the wave of Pacquiao on the rise when Mayweather retired right after the Ricky Hatton fight. And then look, Mayweather stuck around for quite some time, right? And but with that aside, with me feeling he's going to be back, let's say he doesn't come back. One of the reasons I want him to come back is, number one, I'm a fan of his. I want to see him fight, and that's a selfish reason, but it is what it is. Okay, I'm just being honest. But he obviously has to want it. I get all that, but here's my thing. Even the Kovalev fights I just feel like Ward never had that mega fight. Like, what do you mean he fought Kovalev? He fought great fighters. Yeah, he has a legit resume. I get that. But I feel like Ward never quite cracked that ceiling to become a star. He never quite got there. And before somebody says, no, because he's bored, like, people could say whatever the fuck you want, okay? A lot of guys don't like Mayweather, and he became a big star, okay? A lot of guys, like, it's just, you love a lot of these brawlers, they never get there either, right? I honestly feel like Andre Ward, and for whatever reason, and fate is fate, maybe it wasn't meant to be, but he never became this big star. The guy never sold over 200,000 pay-per-views. That is insane to me, okay? Like, I've always wanted Andre Ward to have that fight that did at least over 500,000 buys. Like, it's, I'm not even asking for the million. I've always felt like and in a weird way, though, retiring, look at all the press he got because he retired, okay? When somebody retires, people start, for whatever reason, they start paying more attention to them, right? They start paying more attention to these figures. And If there's a fighter that you know rises at 175 and he's a big name and or a relatively big name and is enough, will Ward come out of retirement and fight him? And Ward's the only one. I mean, he's beating everybody. If Ward's the only one that could come out, if he comes out of retirement, that could beat him, right? Maybe he can have that fight, but the anticipation would have to be built, and you do that with a retirement, right? I'm just saying. Okay, it makes it bigger, right? So I'm not saying he's doing this tactically. I'm just saying it might work out that way. Now, who's in the horizon? Maybe it's Shabransky. I don't know. But it's not going to be Shabransky, right? I don't think it's going to be Kovalev unless Kovalev starts knocking dudes out again and he's himself again, and all of a sudden the war comes back. But even then, they fought twice, and I thought the first fight would do at least 300,000 buys. He didn't even crack that. Okay. Ward never became this big drawing power that I felt he could be. He never became the star, and maybe he doesn't care about that. Maybe he doesn't give a shit about that, And this is a guy with that resume should be a big star, and he never became that big star. He was never a part of that big fight, and you guys know what I'm talking about when I say that. The fight that, like, even fighters like Hopkins had those fights, okay? And Hopkins, look at Bernard Hopkins, right? Sure, the De La Hoya, the Trinidad fighters were big fights. I'm not saying they were the most challenging fights for Hopkins, but they had a lot of attention. They sold a lot of pay-per-view. And a fighter like Ward with that type of resume and that type of skill level, to me, should have been a big draw, and a lot of things are circumstantial. There's a lot of things we can't change, but I think he could have been a draw. And that has to be, like, maybe it's not, but that's got to be in the back of his mind, Like, I don't know if he got discouraged by the low level of attention that the Kovalev fights got, or maybe he just doesn't want it. Like, I honestly believe that kind of contributed to it, But money talks, man. Money talks, and he'll be offered a lot of money down the line. There's going to be a fighter at 175, okay? Maybe it's still Stevenson at the time, okay? Or Stevens, I'm sorry. Or no, Stevenson. Wow. Maybe it's still him at the time. I don't know. But there's going to be a fighter out there that's going to, people are going to, maybe he'll be dominant in 2-3 years from now, and people will be like, well, the only guy that could beat him is if Ward comes out of retirement. And they'll offer him a lot of money to do it. Okay? They'll offer him a lot of money. So it's not the last. DStyle predicts that in 2-3 years' time, Andre Ward will be back in the ring. I honestly believe that. Okay? And I honestly think he's going to be back. This is not like, there's some retirements, like when, certain guys retired, are like, yeah, he's done. But this one, it doesn't feel legit. I don't feel like this is it. I just don't. I don't feel like he's done with the sport. I don't think, he probably is, feeling the effects like he talked about, and he probably does feel at the moment like he doesn't have the desire, but down the line, if an opportunity comes, I definitely see him taking advantage of it. That's my opinion. All right. That's what I think. Let's see. Somebody put, just my feeling, I really don't think Andre Ward will be back. Guess we'll see. Well, I guess we will see. Who wants to bid DStyleBoxing? It'll have to be somebody I know, but see, we are September 21st. Who wants to bet me? Oh, it's going to be a long term. It's going to be a long bet, but that Andre Ward announces his return to boxing before September 21st of 2019. Who wants to bet me? Who wants to take that bet? $100. Who wants to bet me? Let me know, and we'll see then. All right. Somebody thinks he'll make comfortable money broadcasting. Well, he might, but yeah. You know, there was fights though that Andre Ward really wanted that he never got. By the way, a Chavez fight, okay, the Triple G fight, okay. There's and they're telling me, yeah, those fights are long gone. I get that, but are you telling me right now that Andre Ward won't come out of retirement for like a name that he believes he could beat, but that he'll get that 300, 400, maybe $500,000, thousand buy pay-per-view fight with? We'll see. All right. Now it was 2013 saying he'll believe he'll be back. All right. Peanut butter and crackers, but Andre's a different kind of cat than most majority of others. His word carries much more integrity, in my opinion, at least. Look, I'm not. Again, I believe him. I think just like I believed. When Mayweather retired after the Baltimore fight, I think he felt he was done. I do. But then, the possibility of Oscar De La Hoya fight, got him those 20 mil, got him out of retirement. Like, we'll see when an offer comes, right? Because right now, we need fights in boxing. We need fights that get people's attention, right? And Ward will be offered something. I'm telling you, he will be made an offer. So, but it's crazy because he's top of the sport right now. That's a good reason to retire, and it's a good way to get some bidders out there, and it's a good way, directly, indirectly, by accident, you call it whatever you want, he's going to be offered a lot of money, okay, to come back. Dan the Man, I agree. I also feel Ward never had the super fight I always thought I'd see him in. It feels like there's something incomplete, and it's not so much like, oh, he's got to. Like, do I feel he could fight Stevenson? Yes, but it's not so much that. It's just I just feel like every fighter had that big fight, Hopkins, by the way, he didn't even. It's not even a Trinidad De La Hoya thing. Hopkins did very good pay-per-view against Tarver. He did great pay-per-view against Jermaine Tater twice. Fights that people remember till this day, and a lot of people watched. Ward just didn't have that fight. You know how many people I know that don't even know who Andre Ward is? But who's your favorite boxer? Andre Ward. Who's he? Like, who's that guy? Like, well, he's the best fighter in my opinion right now. But what are you going to do? A lot of people just don't know who the guy is. They just don't know. And it's honestly, Kovalev Ward, and it's not like they didn't really do anything wrong. Maybe they could have promoted it a little better, but the numbers were depressing to see. That was a fight that should have done much better numbers, and what are you going to do, though? The truth is that Ward would have been a bigger draw if he had been a worse, more flamboyant and controversial person. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. I agree. I think, but I like fighters to be themselves personally, but I get what you're saying. But, maybe society has changed. I don't know. But, I don't remember Ray Leonard, Ray Leonard had natural charisma. I'll give him that. And, Ray Leonard's just always been like that. But Ray Leonard wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be the bad guy and, WWEing the whole shit up and stuff like that. But boxing in general was just more popular, When the sport in general is more popular, who the champions are, who the top fighters are, they get more notoriety. And that's the sport's not just that. It's just not that popular right now. So fighters have to do more than what they used to. All right. Peanut butter crackers foot. That name. The sound of live chat has gone silent for me. Really? What's up, D? What's the bet? Says MBT Boxing. Somebody says that he loves the bit. Apple type. I think he'll come back too, and agree. It feels like Mayweather retirement. Yep. It could be a negotiation tactic. It could be. Not saying it is. I'll bet he won't come back. Well, MBT Boxing, we're on then. We got a bet. All right, Allen, what's up, Factoid? Andre Ward shutting it down. He was a class act. He was. And again, guys, if he does retire, good for him, and I wish him nothing but the best. But I honestly think he's going to be back. Novels 2013 was good, MBT. All right. MBT Novels bumping fists in the chat. Factor says, I think there's a good chance he returns, as most do. Ward is a man of conviction, so I would have to believe he means it right now. Leaves that as pound for pound top dog. Yep. All right, Novels 2013. Andre Ward Appreciation Night. There you go. Factoid list the names. Frotch, Kessler, Dawson. Ward never became the pay-per-view star. The Super Six was huge for him. That and the Olympics. Peanut butter and crackers. So the others continue to hear the live chat. If so, why am I not? I don't know, bro. I don't know what's going on. NBT Boxing. So somebody tell Peanut Butter Crackers to get out of the video and come back. I think it's probably his phone or wherever he's listening from. NBT Boxing, what's the shelf life? Obviously, I'll pay when it comes back, but when do I have to wait to get paid? Well, it's 2 years, bro. 2 years from today. Before today, meaning today's the 21st. So midnight on the 20th of September 2019. Right? 2 years. Okay, on the 20th, midnight. It'll be funny as hell if Andre Ward announces he's back on that 20th that night. But, yeah. All right, it's done. All right. All right, Naval says, don't take the bet. The good thing about that bet is that I don't got to worry about paying for 2 years. Like, like if he comes back next month, like I'm paid. That's a good deal. That's a good bet, actually. If I got to pay up, oh well, I got 2 years to worry about it, right? I can still party with that money. Like I know the date. Like MBT doesn't know the date. Like if Andre Ward comes back tomorrow, he owes me $100. All right. So there you go. I'm just saying, right? All right. The bet wasn't intended that way. It's just, I just realized, yeah, it's a good bet. But if I got to pay up on, this has to happen before the 21st, September 21st of 2019. Before the 21st. So basically, if it doesn't come back by the 20th, then that's it. I got to pay up. Well, we'll make it midnight Eastern time. Well, we'll do that. Okay? Midnight Eastern time. So if he hasn't paid up by the 20th, midnight Eastern time, it becomes the 21st, I owe $100. All right? I swear to God that at 20th, I'm going to be calling Andre Ward. Come on, bro. Come back. All right, just announce you're going to come back and then say psych the next day after I get paid. All right. Anyway. Got to save up 16 cents a day. It's done. That's a wrap. All right. Anyway, Andre Ward, you know what? This is crazy, man. This is crazy. I remember, man, dude used to win. By the way, he's the last gold medalist of the males that we have. Andre Ward, right? He's the last dude that went to the Olympics and showed everybody, we're winners, and he won a gold medal. Like, he's the last dude to do it, Okay, we used to go and dominate the Olympics all the time. Like when we didn't win the gold medal, we got robbed, like Roy Jones and shit. Okay, or Evander Holyfield. Like we would get robbed and shit. Okay, now dudes can't even get past the first round. It's embarrassing, right? But when De La Hoya won a gold medal, he was a big star. He was a big star. Like before he even turned pro, he was a big. They loved De La Hoya, right? I mean, it's his debut was a big deal. Like it's insane, right? When all these guys, Maldrick Taylor, Sugar Ray Leonard, when they won gold medals, they became instant stars. The whole country watched their fights, okay? And they couldn't wait for them to turn pro, and they followed their career. They were big names. Pernell Whitaker, right? But Whitaker did win the gold medal, right? I'm 99% sure he did, but I'm thinking about it now, but I believe he did. Anyway, Ward won a gold medal, and it's like, crickets, man. Like, what happened with boxing? Is it because they put the fight on CNBC? Is that what it is? They had him fight it on CNBC in the Athens Olympics. Okay, it wasn't like on the main NBC broadcast. Okay, dude won the gold medal, and they had him on CNBC. Okay, nobody watches CNBC. They throw all the boxing fights on CNBC. All right, who the fuck watches that? Bunch of stockbrokers and shit. Factoid. Those are the only people. Factoid and people like that. Right? Just kidding, bro. But people like keeping up with the stocks and shit. You know, because you can't go to your fidelity.com or you can't go and, you know, just go online and check your stocks. So you got to fucking look at CNBC. But anyway, what is it with America, man? Like the dude won a gold medal, and it's like nobody gave a shit. No, nobody cared that he won the gold medal. And then you're like, okay, fine. All we heard for years, oh, the fighters, they don't fight each other. They're avoiding each other. And we need tournaments to prove who's the best. And what happens? Andre Ward wins a tournament. He wins a tournament, right? And the ratings on Showtime were abysmal. I mean, they were okay, but nobody watched it. Everything people complained about, like, oh, the fighters the best don't fight the bad, blah, 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 blah. If only like the good old days, and nobody watched it. The dude won the Super 6 tournament, and only hardcore boxing fans cared. That's it. Nobody else cared. Like D-Style and YouTubers. That's it. Right? That's it. Like, we're the only ones that cared. And then, right? And then, you know, he moved. Obviously, he had a couple slow years and some injuries and some tune-ups, and he comes back and, you know, he beats a solid fighter in Barrera. Solid fighter. That's what this guy's a good fighter. Well, why is everybody shitting on the fight? No, he should have fought Jabransky. Like you know, we saw what happened when he fought Jabransky, right? Barrera, right? But he wins that fight. Everybody shits on the fight. It's just like, oh, he's done. That's it. Ward ain't doing shit no more. Like, you know. And then he fights Kovalev twice. And it just abysmal pay-per-view numbers. This is a gold medalist. I won a freaking tournament at 168. Okay, that is fighting one of the quote-unquote killers of the division. And even if you're not watching for Ward, like, nobody watched it for Kovalev either. Nobody watched it. Abysmal pay-per-view numbers. It's depressing to watch those numbers. It really is. You know? Is that an indictment on boxing? It is, in my opinion. See how back I could go here. MVT Boxing says he'll give me an extra week. Don't need the extra week. If he's not back by a 20, he's not going to come back on the 22nd. Right? Factoid Allen, couple of questions. Best performance from Ward in your opinion? How would he fare against a prime Roy Jones Jr. or James Toney? Whoa. Best performance to me. a lot of people want to say Frotch, and I'm not. To me personally, it's Kessler, right? Him going in there and dismantling Kessler the way he did, and people forget Kessler after that ended up beating Frotch in a close fight. Actually, people forget that. Okay, but the way he just dismantled Kessler, and people forget too, Kessler was the favorite, right, of that tournament. And if you think there was people saying that, and again, everything is people revise history, but I remember this vividly. Kessler was one of the darlings, just like guys like Gennady Golovkin are today of the YouTube boxing community or whatever, right? And Kessler was a favorite. He was a favorite by the press. He was a favorite, like, oh, only Kawasaki beat him, but he's better now than when he fought Kawasaki. Kawasaki told people that Kessler's going to win the tournament, right? And he was everybody's pick. Ward was considered too inexperienced and not tested enough. I mean, this is what they were saying about a gold medalist who was groomed properly, and it was literally the right time to step him up. It couldn't have been better. And yet, whatever, he wasn't ready. Okay, people were giving Darrell, okay, a better shot, and Darrell did disappoint me. I thought he was going to do more with his career, to be honest. But there you go. But the Kessler win, I think the Kessler win to me was the highlight of everything. It was at a time where I was a minority on here saying that not only will Ward win, he will dismantle Kessler. And so seeing that happen was very satisfying. But not only that, keep in mind, I'm high on Kessler. I don't think anything less of Kessler because he lost to Ward, but Ward just had a perfect night that night. I mean, he just had a terrific performance. He dominated Kessler. I like the way he would just turn him and then boom, hit him. I mean, it was just great. But that's my opinion. Like, it's my opinion, man. Right? But there you go. All right, Peanut Butter and Crackers is back. How would he have done against Roy Jones Jr. and James Toney? Holy shit. Look, man, I'm very high on SOG. I'm very high on Andre Ward, but I got to keep it 100. Roy Jones, UD, right? Prime Roy Jones, and I've actually said this before, but Prime Roy Jones versus anybody, I'm gonna pick Roy Jones. Like it's just the way it is. Okay, Roy Jones in his prime, I think he'll win a couple rounds, but I think overall, like I don't see like Roy Jones putting his hands behind his back and and humiliating Ward. Okay, but I see Ward winning 3-4 rounds in that fight, and I think it's competitive in the first half. But Roy Jones takes over and just outclasses Andre Ward, and that's me thinking very highly of Ward. James Toney, little too stationary for Andre Ward. I think it would be a very good fight. James Toney would be very dangerous at 168, where I'm assuming people are picturing these fights. James Toney would be very dangerous, but I think it's a toss-up to me, but I'll go with Ward. It's a toss-up, though. But there you go. Mr. Doc, yep, American Olympic Boxing used to be on Prime TV. Yeah, now it's on CNBC. Novice 2003, best performance for me was against Carl Frotz, second Kovalev. That was great, too. Yeah, those were great wins. NBT Boxing, Battle Jack is one fight away from being top 5 pound for pound. To some people, he's already number 3. Number 2 now that Ward's retired. Holy shit. I don't know if I look at Battle Jack and say that guy's a pound for pound guy, but maybe you got to watch him a little carefully. I don't know. Okay, Mr. Doc, NBT, careful. Say Battle's name too many times, and low place will show. ELN says, Sweet Pea confirmation, lightweight gold medals for the United States 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. All right. Peanut Butter and Crackers, the media is liberal, and too many of those types, boxing and violent nature, is considered politically incorrect. No. I don't think that's why boxing has declined in popularity, bro. But Mr. Doc, second COVID to win, rid of YouTube people, PP. Well, that's right. Yo, I got to take it back, man. Kovalev, I mean, Ward did us all a favor. He did some. He did something nobody could do. Okay, he did get rid of PP. Okay, factoid Allen to Navos. That Frauds fight was special. I agree. The win versus Kessler was rough and ugly at times. He fought beyond his years to win that first world title. Beat the hell out of Dawson. Brutal. I agree, Dan the man. That was a great added bonus. Peanut butter and crackers, but to me, it's an indictment of the prevailing mentality of our culture more than boxing. Well, bro, if that's true though, why do other fighters, become bigger names? Why do some UFC fighters become big names? You know, like why can't a John Jones versus Cormier fight sell, but the Kovalev war fight couldn't sell? Maybe it was a bad blood, and those guys didn't like each other, and they got in a fight and the scuffle and the weigh-in and all that. But still, I'm just, if it was because the culture shuns that violence, and then wouldn't it be the opposite? Like I'm just saying. Novels, you fuck Kessler up. I agree. And Durrell was never the same after a cheap shot by Arthur Abraham. Yeah, he was hit when he was down. Abraham raked around Jermaine Taylor in that tournament. Yeah, he did Jermaine Taylor, that's for sure. I was shocked. I thought Jermaine Taylor was going to beat Arthur Abraham. What are you going to do? 4-9-1 puts Ruben Santana. Okay. Mr. Doc, I think boxing would be in better shape in America if the rest of our major sports were basically free. As in no pay-per-view to see the playoffs, title games, no pay-per-view at all, in fact. Yeah. Yeah, boxing put itself in a box. It got itself on pay-per-view and was no longer on free TV. And it lost a big chunk of its fan base, man. And that's just the reality, right? Mr. Doc, give me yes or no. If you want to do right now in a couple minutes, you want to score the Duran versus Hagler fight, let me know. And we could do it after I close this video. We'll see what he tells me here. If not, we'll do it another day. By the way, thanks for you guys for joining me in the chat, by the way. It's much appreciated. Don't forget to thumbs up the video. I'm waiting for word from Mr. Doc. See what he says. I'm putting him on the spot. I'm asking him in front of everybody. Juicy 10 put boxing is slowly dying. I don't know about that. I think the sport has a lot of problems. Don't get me wrong. The sport's not dying. It's just on, I wouldn't even say it's on life support. It's got very low blood pressure right now. That's all. It just has low blood pressure, and it needs some medication to get going. Okay, well, we got to start giving it some medication. That medication is, be more consistent. We need a little bit of that. DStyle's going to give boxing its doctor's orders here. Okay, here's his medication. More consistency. You got to take some of those pills. All right, we're going to put that on here. You can get that at your local Walgreens. All right, I think your insurance doesn't cover it, but we can figure it out. You'll have to figure that out. All right. Boxing. What else does boxing need? It needs more unification fights. I'm gonna do that. I'll put that in liquid form. Okay. We're gonna write that down. All right. There we go. I want to make sure you reduce some of that corruption. I know we'll never get rid of it all, but reduce some corruption. So I'm gonna give you some of that. To take that at least twice a week. Okay. And we have to make sure we try to get some undisputed. Okay, we can do that at least once a year. That'll help us out. Okay, it's that one's pretty high up there, but hopefully insurance covers it. The problem is boxing has no insurance coverage, so we'll see how it works out. Okay. Well, what else does boxing need? I think that's it, right? I think I don't want to give it too much medication. Let's see. I also think American casual fans would find it far easier to follow if tournaments like the Super Six and World Boxing Super Series, is that what it is, were mere prevalent. All right, Doc will come on. We'll do another video. We'll score that Duran Hagler fight, which I haven't watched in years. Holy shit! I watched that on YouTube like a long time ago. Okay, peanut butter and crackers. Boxing isn't going anywhere. When will people stop saying that it's dead? It's just on low blood pressure. That's all. Okay, Boxing America is doing poorly. It is. 2017 has been terrific. Best year in the sport since 2013. Well, I think when we start saying, "Oh, this is the best year boxing has had since the '80s," then I guess we could say we're in good shape. But there you go. Best retirement class ever. Mosey, Cotto. Cotto's retired. Is Cotto retired? Ward, Mayweather, Marquez, and if Cotto's retired, that's news to me. Holy shit. Vladimir Klitschko, Tammy Lent. Great year for boxing, but it seems like a payout for boxers is starting to come down to MMA levels. Canelo GGG deserved more. Well, bro, I mean, GGG and Canelo made a lot of money, bro. Okay, no one in MMA has ever made that type of money, ever. It's never happened. And those guys are lucky to see 6 million, bro. Right? But I can't. If you could, can you argue it's getting close to that? Sure, but Cotto's one more probably. Okay. Oh, Cotto said his last fight this year. Well, if he does retire this year, then hey, yeah, you're right. All right, guys, I'm going to close this video. I'm going to set up, by the time I set it all up here, and then I'm going to be sending Doc what's it called? I'm going to be sending him a link, and we're going to be scoring the fight. It's going to be Hagler versus Roberto Duran. You know, I haven't watched it in at least 7 years, if that. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to search the fight, get everything ready. And thanks to you guys for joining me, man. I appreciate it. Right? You just convinced Cotto's going to fight Golovkin next. Well, hey, give Cotto a shot, I guess. That's what he wants. I think Golovkin's a bad matchup for Cotto. I really believe that. I think it's a bad matchup for him. It's like Margarito, but it's illegal hand wraps, and he hits harder. And it's coming, and he could jab. And he has better defense. You know, I'm just saying, like it's not a good look for Cotto, but and he's bigger, right? All right, man. Take care, guys.